One of the darkest, most frightening, brutal, authoritarian acts that this regime has undertaken happened in the early hours of Tuesday, September 30th. And I think a lot of us missed it because we were distracted with Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump's embarrassing display in front of our military leaders later in the day. I know I should have talked about this story earlier, and multiple other news outlets were also failing to cover it. And I'm really glad that it's starting to get more traction today because everybody needs to know what ICE did in Chicago at 1 a.m. on Tuesday, September 30th. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to show you some clips. I want you to know that my sources are the Chicago Sun-Times, the New Republic, Chris Hayes on MSNBC, the New York Times, and Heather Cox Richardson's Substack. Oh, as well as some clips from local Chicago news stations. What we know is that about 300 agents and the FBI confirmed that they were supporting ICE, so it wasn't just ICE agents, helicoptered in and swarmed a South Shore apartment building in the middle of the night, dragging residents out and ransacking the building. Ultimately, Homeland Security arrested 37 people, and their claim is that they were targeting subjects believed to be involved in drug trafficking and distribution, weapons crimes, and immigration violations. But there were no warrants that were presented at the time. So I want you to get a picture for what happened. This is the middle of the night. These are civilians sleeping in their homes. This is an apartment complex, not a military target. Federal agents came in with helicopters, rappelled down onto the roof of the building, broke down doors, used flashbangs, and they ripped tenants from their apartment. They detained United States citizens without warrants, without identifying who these agents were, and they absolutely destroyed these people's homes and personal property. But it gets far worse than that.
They asked me, was I a U.S. citizen? I told them, yeah. I was born here. It was real tight. All right here. And every time I moved, it would hurt.
Patricia Fisher says she was detained by federal agents this morning, claims she was held for hours in a van with other neighbors at 7500 South Shore Drive, while agents confirmed her identity, citizenship, and confirmed she had no active warrants. She describes the scene as she says children were also let out of the building.
No shoes. The kids that had no shirts or no pants on, they just treated us like we were nothing.
He said he had warrants for 5 people. I said, so why you detaining the whole building? He says for the safety of our people.
Ebony Watson watched and filmed what she saw,
And all you see is this whole block full of budget rental cars.
showing a massive show of force and rental trucks used in this mission alongside ICE, FBI, and other federal agencies. The FBI called it a, quote, targeted immigration enforcement operation.
So let's make something clear here. Federal agents are claiming that they had warrants for 5 people. They raided an entire apartment complex, dragged people out, took American citizens, handcuffed them, and stuffed them into the back of rental trucks for hours and hours with no probable cause, no warrants for the agents' safety. Is this what we want to have normalized in the United States of America? That masked goons can sweep into your home with no warrant, no cause whatsoever, drag you out in the middle of the night, handcuff you, stuff you into a van for as long as they want, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. They are operating outside of the law. This is unreal. You guys have got to understand how severe of a violation this is on so many levels. This kind of authoritarian, absolutely illegal bullshit cannot be normalized or tolerated in the United States of America. The Trump regime and literal ghoul Stephen Miller are now saying it is acceptable if ICE manufactures some scenario where they say there might be something going on, maybe possibly with immigrants, they can just bust down the door of your home, come in, drag you out, handcuff you, do whatever the fuck they want to you while they figure out whatever it is they're doing. Whatever. They're manufacturing terror in our cities. They're manufacturing terror across the United States of America. This is unreal. Now you may have missed a little portion there in the middle of all of that. Federal agents dragged naked children out of their homes. They zip-tied them and dragged them out, separated them from their parents in the middle of the night. Witness Daryl Ballard recalled seeing agents using big 15-inch chainsaws to cut down the fence. "We're under siege," he said. "We're being invaded by our own military." Resident Roderick Johnson told the Block Club Chicago that he heard people dropping on the roof. His door was kicked in by agents. He was packed into a van for hours without being told why he was being detained. "I asked agents why they were holding me if I was an American citizen. They said that I had to wait until they looked me up. I asked if they had a warrant. I asked for a lawyer. They never brought one." This is what Donald Trump wants to normalize across the United States, that his goons, his secret police, can do whatever they want to you and you cannot stop them. I know that that man said it feels like the military is waging war on us, right? We are under siege from our own military. Let's be very clear. This is not the United States military that is doing this. This is former Proud Boys, Oath Keepers. Probably they're still current Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. These are masked thugs. These are Donald Trump's secret police. They are his personal paramilitary force, and we are funding this to the tune of tens of billions of dollars of our tax money. We are funding Donald Trump's private police terrorizing American citizens.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released. Citizen App video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
Masked agents with no warrants dragging naked children zip-tied together out of their homes, stuffing them into trucks, separating them from their parents. By the way, 4 of those children were United States citizens. ICE took them. According to Block Club Chicago, those United States citizen children are being held by the Department of Homeland Security until they can be placed in the care of guardians. There are no details about their whereabouts. Kristi Noem's Department of Homeland Security can just come and snatch American citizen children. They can take naked children and drag them zip-tied out in the middle of the night, rip them away from their families. They can break into the homes of, destroy the property of American citizens, violate their rights, handcuff them, detain them without probable cause and without warrants. Is this making America great again? Why is there not mass public outrage from every corner of this country? If you call yourself a Republican, the party of small government, of states' rights, the party that worships and adores the Constitution, at least y'all did up until you started worshiping Donald Trump. Please tell me how you justify this. Please tell me how it is acceptable. I know what a lot of y'all are going to say. Well, it's because it was Black and Latino folks. You don't think that it can happen to you, white Republicans. You don't think that this is the future that Donald Trump wants to inflict upon everybody in this country. You're okay with the violation of people's constitutional rights as long as they aren't white, as long as they're not you. How about you fucking go read the First They Came For poem? I do not think it's possible to exaggerate how horrendous and illegal this action was by the Department of Homeland Security under Donald Trump and Kristi Noem. This was an egregious violation of the rights of Americans. This was an egregiously brutal, extreme, unhinged authoritarian move, and they think that they're going to get away with it. Please understand they're testing the limits. They're seeing if the American people push back, and if we don't, they're going to do this in more and more places. It is crucial that we do not let this action go unanswered. There has to be massive public outcry. Do we want an America where masked men zip tie naked children, handcuff American citizens and stuff them into vans. Are we great again yet?